Howdy, Patrick Kincaid. Back for lesson 7.03 today, I believe. Yay! Real seller scenario, running your criteria test on product ideas. Okay? So this is where the rubber meets the road. I'm going to walk you through the whole process of running your criteria test on your product ideas. Pretty awesome stuff. RSS, run your criteria test on product ideas. RSS, by the way, stands for real seller scenario. Not the RSS feed. You may know that term. I stole the acronym. Okay, so run your criteria test on product ideas. We're going to be going through 4 parts of this. 1, product types to avoid. That's the first part here. Determining your top keyword. I kind of showed you how to do that on the last lesson. We're going to be going through that. X-ray, using X-ray to get search volume and your success scores. And then part 4, final decision time. Right? Okay. Again, do you remember our 10 steps of niche and product research? Yes. Pointed this out many times. This is from lesson 5.05. This run your criteria test I'm about to walk you through, this real seller scenario. You're going to be going through this criteria test tons and tons in your Amazon selling career, okay? Again, where I've narrowed down what you have to do to get this done, okay? This is newly improved, totally updated. Been doing it one way for a few years, for 6 years, and evolved over time, and now it is taking a new evolutionary turn in Pi 2.0 that walks you through that, okay? But you're going to be doing this criteria test a couple different times here in the 10 steps of your product research, okay? So we will be using a few tools to run your criteria test. Those tools are the Pi 2.0 workbook, right? And specifically the Run Your Criteria Test sheet down there, as you can see in the upper left. And we're going to be using Amazon.com. We're going to search for stuff. We're going to be using the Helium 10 Chrome extension X-ray tool. And then we're going to be using the Helium 10 Cerebro tool, right? And then we're going to come back to Amazon.com. We're going to run X-ray again with the top keyword, and then we're going to be entering this data in the Pi 2.0 workbook. So those are kind of the 4 different tools we're going to be using for this journey with running your criteria test. All right. So without further ado, let's dive in. Let's do it. Why not? All right, check this out. Okay, so we are here with the new Pi workbook, and I just wanted to quickly show the breakdown on how to run through a criteria test, and especially the first part of it, where we go through the product types to avoid, okay? So I've already jotted down these product ideas within my chosen niche of backpacking, and I found these ideas. I used Blackbox. First, I found the idea within the niche tab in Blackbox, and it pulled up this ultralight backpacking trowel. And then I took that trowel and I entered the ASIN into the product targeting tab and entered that here, and it spit out some ideas. So I went ahead and jotted those ideas down here on my Pi workbook. And here's those ideas, okay? This, of course, could be expanded upon, but I just wanted to get kind of a start from the backpacking niche and from specifically this one product idea that was a good product idea according to Blackbox. And I wanted to expand that and see what else is bought with those trowels, right? Okay, so the first thing here is we have product types to avoid, and I've got these laying out here. These are certainly, usually, if there's an X in any of these boxes, when you're analyzing this and you go through this list here and you put an X in any of these boxes, of course, there's going to be some exceptions, right? So I am assuming I already have a brand that sells backpacking outdoor gear that, of course, is going to be seasonal, heavily weighted towards the summer season. Okay, so I put X's down here, but that, because that's what my brand's focused around, that's not going to deter me from actually proceeding further. Okay, if your product, as you go through this, if you find other X's besides the ones that you're okay with, then that's when you start to notice that maybe this isn't the best product or group of products to go into, just depending on what you find out. Okay, so as I look at backpacking trowel, ultralight backpacking trowel, is it fragile? No. Let me show you what a picture of this looks like. Actually, it's just a trowel that it's metal. You use it when you're out backpacking to dig a hole so you can go to the bathroom in it. All right, so that's what that's all about. So is it fragile? No. Is it hazardous? No. Patented? Um, Certainly there are patented ones, I'm sure, but if we were to develop this, we would come up with our own or find one that's not patented and go from there. Seasonal, okay? Does it go on the body or in the body? No. Electronic? No. Medical or sex related? Nope. Trendy? Nope. Chinese sellers. Going to come back to that one here in a second. Foreign culture focused? Nope. We're big time backpackers here in the United States. Is it large? No. Is it risky? No. It's not. There's no personal liabilities that are going to come along with that. Okay. So that was just a real quick run through. There's, of course, this one here that we have to go look up our product. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go in here and go to paste in, I think it's the best search term. And looks like a bunch of ultralight backpacking trowels. I'm going to run the black box. Okay. So I always save my Chinese column for last because once I get an X-ray, for the next steps of my running the research criteria, I'm already in here, right? So I want to look in here and see, is it dominated by Chinese sellers? Well, yes, there is some Chinese in here, but I'm seeing, I don't know what TW is. That's Taiwan. Okay. Korea, US, Canada, or China, US. So it's only about in the top 10, maybe half or less Chinese. So I'm going to not mark an X there on that column. In fact, if we want to, we can move this column right over here. All right. So we're not going to mark an X by the Chinese there. Okay. Let's look at the next one real quick. And I'm going to leave that window open. Let's go to this next window and put in the next one. Run X-ray. Let's see if these are dominated by Chinese. These ones are dominated by Chinese. Look at that. Mostly Chinese. Lots of Chinese. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to mark the X on that box for this one. Food bag hanging system. Let's go check that. Run again X-ray. What I'm looking for the most part. And looks like this one is not dominated by Chinese. There are some products that are not food bag hanging system. This one, US seller. Okay, so this one we can't actually mark off yet because I hardly see any food bag hanging systems actually in here, right? So I actually do want to make sure that this search term returns completely relevant products. These are kind of all random here, and you can always tell when you look up here at the search volume or whatever search term you put here, it's if it's in A, that means that the search volume is so low that there's really nobody searching for this term, which makes it kind of a bad keyword, right? makes it a keyword we shouldn't be focusing on. We need to go find a better keyword for this market. So kind of jumping into the next step of the criteria test where we're looking for the top keyword. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do that now, okay? So we can't quite decide if you get to run into the stumbling block because you can't figure out from this word here that you originally chosen as a project idea, or from this one here, then you need to go find your top keywords, okay? So you can really know what to look up and then run X-ray on it so you can really see all of the products that you're looking for. All right. So if I go back to the search we did, okay, and I sort by revenue, and then I select the top two. As I scroll down through here, I find a couple, if I can find a couple, products that are the exact products I'm looking for. So there's the first one, ultralight food bag hanging system. Okay. Bear outdoor dry sack floating waterproof bag. Go ahead and check that one. By the way, this bag that we're looking this when you're backpacking, sometimes you have to hang your food in a tree if you don't have a bear canister, and if you're in bear country, and that's the product that we're looking at here, right? So I found two. I'm just going to go ahead and shimmy on down here and check and make sure there's not another one that's the whole system. Nope. So I found two, right? So once you find two that are 100% relevant to the product that you're looking for, they are definitely food bag hanging systems. Now we're going to run a keyword search. So what we're trying to do is find one of the top searched keywords that will bring us to this market. So you want to figure out what the customers would search for, what they would type into the search bar there, if they were going to look for this product. We're wanting to find a better search term, right? I'm wanting to see the market. I want to see all the products within the market. So you got to go to where the people search within the market to find the products that are within the market. All right. So you'll notice they delivered 3,978 filtered keywords, all kinds of information here, and these are kind of together for these two products. Now, what I'm interested in here are the top keywords. So I click that filter, and lo and behold, we get the top keywords, 26 of them filtered, and they are actually filtered by the sponsored rank or the competitor rank average, which if we were to scroll over here, we would see that. Competitor rank average, they're listed in order of that. So for these two products, they average ranking of number 2 for bareback. That's pretty impressive. So probably one of them's number 1, one of them's number 3 for an average of 2, right? They also are there for 30-liter dry bag. But if you see this top one here, 3876 search volume, that's a lot better than non-applicable or not available, which means 0, right? When we look back over on that other page, the search volume was 0, whereas this one's 3876. 3,876 people per month are looking for a bareback, okay? So what I want to do is I want to open this keyword up, and lo and behold, we have probably a lot more bear bags than what we had before. So here's odor-proof bags, odor-proof storage bags, rat sack bundle, ultralight rodent-proof dry bag for backpacking. Yeah. Bear bags for food backpacking. So this is a much better search term, and we know it's got a good search volume. Okay. So I'm going to X-ray this one because remember, we're trying to get to see if there's too many Chinese sellers in this space, right? So bear bag is our new keyword that is a top keyword. Bear bag. Oh, don't forget to put your date. So we got bear bag. And if we go back over here, we can check the Chinese seller status here. And I'm looking down through here. There's a couple. Certainly not dominated. Mostly U.S. sellers. Mostly U.S. sellers. A couple Chinese here and there, but mostly U.S. and Amazon. Okay. So usually, by the way, when you see an Amazon, you need to take a peek because sometimes it's a big brand that Amazon's selling for. So Osprey is a huge brand in backpacking, and I know that because this is my market, right? This is my niche. But if you don't know that, if you're looking at a new niche and you don't know, a good telltale sign is if Amazon is selling it, then it's a larger company that has made an agreement with Amazon for them to sell their product for them. Okay. So is this necessarily somebody you don't want to compete with? Well, it just depends. I don't make it a full red flag, get out of here type thing, but I do pay attention to it potentially being someone I want to watch out for because this is Amazon, right? And it means that there's a big company behind it that could be really hard to go after if I'm a small guy. So, okay. So I don't, so it passed my Chinese check, right? So here we are. We've gone through 2 of these, and you would want to keep doing that for these last 4 here, okay? So I'm going to stop there. So this, actually, we got 3 of them. We're down to about here, okay? I just slap a little line underneath this so I can know where I stopped at. We have 2 products here that are not Chinese. We know that they're seasonal, so we can go on to the next part of the criteria test. So the first part of the criteria test was to check on the products types to avoid, make sure we're not failing these tests, right? Make sure that we're going after products that are not ones we want to avoid, okay? Then the next step I just showed you how to do is find the top keywords for these products, okay? We just found it for the bear bag. You'd want to go through that same process for the ultralight backpacking trowel, and then whichever ones you looked up next in these 3, okay? So if I run it for the ultralight backpacking trowel, real quick, I can go over here in the ultralight backpacking trowel where we are at. I sort by revenue. I pick the top 2 that are not sponsored ads, by the way. I run a keyword search. Quick and dirty, folks, quick and dirty. Keyword search comes up. Click on top keywords. Again, we have 1,871 keywords here. I want to find the top ones that both of these products that were top revenue generators and what we thought was a good keyword. I want to figure out what their top keywords are, ones that they rank high for, both of them. And what we have here is poop shovel at 1368, trowel backpacking 1684. Kind of like that one. Let's check poop shovel backpacking trowel 1948. That sure seems pretty accurate, doesn't it? What did we have before? We have ultralight backpacking trowel. Now, yes, the ultralight makes it kind of a different product, but I see that the top sellers are the same type of product in the ultralight here as they probably are going to be in the regular backpacking trowel. Okay, so back over here to Cerebro. I kind of liked backpacking trowel because it has a slightly higher search volume than these guys, and it's got a good Cerebro IQ score. Okay, you could pick either, poop shovel, trowel backpacking shovel, or backpacking trowel. Any of those would be good. I'm going to go ahead and pick this one. Okay, backpacking trowel. So I'll go ahead and copy that. There's our ultralight. So do a quick x-ray. And are we dominated by Chinese? There's some US people in here. Let's sort by revenue. So use top money generators. Amazon US is some Chinese, but it's not dominated, right? It's not dominated. Okay. So we have two products that have passed our test. This one here did not pass our test. Doesn't mean we're not going to we're definitely going to stay away from that one. But it just means for now we're going to kind of rule it out and stick with these other two that did pass our first part of our criteria test with the product types to avoid. Okay. I'm going to come back to you in the next video and talk to you about the next steps of the criteria test. Okay. We got the first ones done here. Now we're going to run through the next little phase of running a criteria test on your products. Now that we've got a couple here. All right, I'll see you in a minute. How cool was that, man? Okay, so that's part one of running your criteria test, and I'm not going to bore you with any in-between stuff. I'm just going to go right into part two, okay? Kind of wanted to split it up in case you needed to go get a drink of tea or take a little break, but I wanted to kind of split it in two so it's not one big long section there. So here comes part two of running your criteria test. Okay, hello, Patrick and Kate, I'm back. So we just ran through the first part of the criteria test where we actually checked off to see which product types to avoid, and I also showed you how to find the top keyword for any given product idea, just to make sure that you're looking at a good reflection of the market for that particular product idea. Okay, so it's real important you get that top keyword and you're looking at a good representation of the market before we do this next part. Okay, so the next part involves using X-ray. Okay, so I want to make sure I've got my date here. Okay, so we've moved through this. We've got their ideas. If we put down other keywords before, cool, they'd be there. We went through this criteria test, product types to avoid checkoff list here, and we're not going to worry about this backpack rain cover right now because it had too many Chinese sellers, right? But these other two, and again, I would recommend you do all these 6 products. Look at, go through the avoid checklist as well as find the top keyword for all the rest of these guys. I just did these 3 to start for the sake of time here in the video and the trainings, but I would suggest you do, your whole niche here before you go on to this next step that we're about to start. Okay. So put the date. I got my top keyword. And now I'm going to get these other pieces of information filled in here. So backpacking trowel. We had looked this up already. I kept those windows open. So backpacking trowel has a search volume of 1948. Okay. So 1948 is the search volume and the revenue factor. Okay. So I already walked you through how to set up your X-ray success scores, but that's exactly what we're going to go mark down now. Okay. So we've got the backpacking trowel X-ray report pulled up. And what I'm looking at is the search volume I just got and these 2 scores here. Okay. Now, I think I close that down real quick. I need to make sure that my metrics are set properly. And I'm just looking for a product that makes me a few $1,000s in revenue a month. That's all I'm looking for. Looking for something quick and easy that I can add to my repertoire that'll, generate me $750, $1,000 a month profit, somewhere around there. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'll close that, open up Helium 10 extension and change my settings. And I just want this to say 3,000. I'll leave it at 100 reviews. That's fine. Save that. Now it's going to recalculate all these Amazon tabs I got open. It's going to redo them all, get new data, so on and so forth. So I'm going to close that down. We'll be waiting for this thing to do its thing. Okay, back to backpacking trail. You got to run your x-ray again after you make an adjustment like that on your success scores. You probably already had yours set up before we started this whole process of our criteria test. Okay, so we see here we're back to 1948, and we have a 6 and a 5. So 6 out of the top 10 products have a revenue over $3,000 a month, and 5 of the top 10 have under 100 reviews. You can see that by looking right here, right? 6 out of the top 10, not including the sponsored ads, from here down are making more than 3,000. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Everybody else is making under 3,000. And then the reviews. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Under 100 reviews. Okay. So I go back over my sheet and I put 6, 5. I'm going to go ahead and change my number here. There's the 6 and the 5. And done. Okay. So the next one we got going on here. So that finished that one for now. Okay. Now, do we want to look further at this one? Well, let's just put a pin in that for a second. Let's check this other one here. Bear bag. Where did our bear bag go? Backpack rain cover. That's the one we're going to leave alone for a minute, I think. Food bag hanging system. Close that down. Bear bag. Here we go. Run the x-ray on it, and let's get our success scores for that. Oh, don't forget your search volume. So we got 3876 and 7 and 3. 3876, 7. Okay. So these, the most important column here, for all intents and purposes, is this revenue factor. If you can't make enough money to meet your goals as a seller, then there's no point in you moving forward with that product. Okay. That's the first hurdle. And these, both of them, 6 and 7 out of the top 10 sellers within each of these markets here, with the backpacking trails and the bear bags, are making enough revenue. So odds are you can come in here and you can meet your $3,000 minimum with this product. Now, if you remember when we were looking there was some of them that were making $15,000, $12,000. So chances are pretty good, pretty darn good, that you can make at least your 3,000, if not twice as much that. Okay. This reviews factor, however, this one is important, and it gives us a good indication of how competitive the market already is. But if this is your niche and you're really focusing in on it, and you're being careful not to choose a niche that is overran by Chinese sellers, you're being careful not to choose a niche that is failing into these avoidance tests here, and you're getting really good over time at really understanding your customers, then you should be able to innovate this product idea by going out, pooling your audience, surveying your audience, figuring out what they want and what they need. And you may be one of them, right? You may be one of the customers that knows what you want, what you need in this product. Then you could come in with a new product that's innovative enough to where really when you put your product up, you can show up with, a few reviews on your new listing, and no one's going to care, because you're bringing them a much newer version, and a version of the product such as the bear bag that is answering questions and problems, and really bringing the customers something that they weren't getting before from those other products. And so really you won't have to compete with all those other reviewers. And even though 5 of these top 10 sellers under the backpacking trowel have over 100 reviews, 5 of them have under 100 reviews. So it's still not that difficult to get into this market and catch up. Okay. This one with 3 is a little bit more complicated, but you can still do it, right? If you can get a good bear bag going on, maybe you know that you need a bigger one. In fact, I could see on that one that, having the perfect length of paracord cord and also an instruction manual of how to really hang a bear bag, because it's challenging. And I have my own technique that I've learned and figured out over the years and years and years of backpacking. I'm going to include that with that bear bag product. Okay. So I'm going to bundle it and make it better. I'm going to bring a new product to market that's potentially not there yet. And I'm going to be able to come in here with 0 reviews and get sales. Okay. So with that being said, I could make those notes here. Bundle with cord and instruction from 25 years experience. Okay. Requires deeper analysis. I'm going to check those boxes on each of these. And that's the end of this first part of the criteria test. Okay. First, we did the avoidance list. Then we figured out the top keyword by going into Blackbox as well as Cerebro. And then we took that top keyword and we looked it back up again on Amazon and then ran X-ray. We got the top keyword by going into X-ray, then going into Cerebro, picking the top keyword from there, and then went back to Amazon, back to X-ray on the new term. So I showed you that, getting the top keyword. And then we went and looked at that data and got search volume and our revenue factor and our reviews factor. So that concludes where we're at. We have 2 that require deeper analysis. What that means is that they passed our first tests. They're ready to go to data phase 2. Okay? So hopefully that was useful. We're getting you on down the road here through the 10 steps to product and niche research in order to just get this done and get you a solid list of product ideas. Now, again, I always suggest you do a big handful of these products all at once, so you're not spinning your wheels and going down rabbit holes one product at a time, right? You want to get to the end of this and have check marks here, enough of them, where you know that, hey, this is a niche worth pursuing as a whole still, okay? And then you're on to the next steps. There you have it. How cool was that? Run your criteria test. You now know how to do it, and you're going to be really learning how to do it as you repeat it over and over and over again, okay? Maybe you'll be one of the fortunate ones that you'll only have to run it about 10 times because you found your first niche out of the gates with some great ideas in them, and you just need to test those. You need to run the criteria test on those 10 product ideas you got, and maybe at the end of that you'll find that 4 of them are valid product ideas that you can definitely move to the next phase and validate them further. Okay, so maybe you won't be running it tons of times, but believe you me, most of us, when we're finding our next product to sell, we're in there doing this test 20, 30 times. So you're going to get fast at it, and that's why I kind of mentioned in the video training there that I want you to do blocks of product ideas at a time. Okay, so don't just do one product idea and run it all the way out through the criteria test and all the way in through the next steps of validation and then checking the profitability and all that next things I'm going to teach you. Do chunks of products at a time. So go get your chunk of products listed down there, like 10 of them, and go through the avoid checkoff for all 10 of those at once. Make sure that they're not on the avoidance list. Then take those 10 and go through the ones that pass the avoidance test. Then go find their top keywords. Right. That way you're not you're working more efficiently that way. Right. You're chunking things together. So you can do repetition. When you're doing things repetitively like that, you can get a lot more done in a short amount of time. And you start seeing patterns as well, and your brain starts moving through the process a lot quicker because you're doing the same thing again, 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 one little piece, and then you go to the next little piece and do it again and again, 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 again. Okay. All right. So that's my 2 cents there. There we are. You just learned to run your criteria test. and you can use that in both steps 3 and 5. Next, we are going to be going into those next steps with validating profitability, and we're going to be looking at the life cycle of the product as well, and we're going to be using social media to validate the product, okay? And that's where the survey your audience comes in, and then we're going to, after that, jump out. We're going to be all the way through the validate period, or the validate module, and we'll be going into the next module for differentiating or innovating your product, okay? So that'll take us all the way through those 10 steps, right? So you just picked up 2 steps at once with this, with these last few lessons. So you're ready to go. We're moving on to even deeper validation now, okay? All right, I look forward to seeing you on the next lesson. I hope this has served you well. We'll see you next.